You know that feeling when you meet someone and you just sense there's so much more going on beneath the surface.
Yeah, like a whole hidden world.
Exactly. That's what always grabs me, those untold stories. And today, well, we're doing just that, kind of peeling back the layers on a really fascinating conversation.
We're looking closely at a really open discussion with someone who's navigating, being young and online right now.
Our source is this great YouTube video. It's from Viasetter's Gen Z Trian series, and it features Alyssa Huff. She's a Gen Z content creator, also a student, and honestly, this interview just packed with interesting stuff.
Right. And our mission here really is to sort of get under the skin of this interview. We want to pull out those key moments that show us a bit about Alyssa's personality, what she values, the experiences shaping her.
Yeah, basically offering you, the listener, a unique look into a fellow learner's journey.
And they cover quite a range, don't they? From personal dreams to like dealing with social media, relationships, all of it.
Totally. Okay, so let's dive in. Starting with those first impressions. The host of Gen Z Trone, he immediately noted Alyssa's very feminine and relaxed energy. He used that phrase "nang ta," like a muse.
Yeah, almost ethereal.
Ah,
But what was really interesting was Alyssa's reaction to that.
right. She seemed genuinely surprised.
Mm-hmm. Surprised to be seen as very feminine, even the term bon bail, which, as she explained, is sort of about expressing femininity quite overtly through style.
And that didn't really seem to mesh with her own self-image.
Not entirely. She defined Bombeo in that specific style sense, but describes herself as more chiller, more understated.
Preferring comfortable, minimalist, classy clothes.
Exactly. Which really highlights how, our outward presentation isn't always a direct reflection of how we feel inside. It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. Then the host also sensed something he called quomin, like a secret mischievous side.
Ah, yes. But Alyssa corrected him there, which was interesting.
Yeah. What did she say?
She said she's quite open, so openly playful. But maybe that side doesn't always come across on her social media.
Right. Which she linked to being introverted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If you're introverted, that playfulness might come out more, one-on-one or with people you're really comfortable with.
Uh-huh. Not necessarily for a wide audience online. It makes you wonder how much we actually miss from someone's personality just based on their online stuff.
Totally. How we form these perceptions in the digital age and how often they're just, scratching the surface.
So true. Okay, later on, she picked a card that seemed to really hit home for her right now. It was Tier Yu Lam Yi. What's the purpose of having a lot of money?
And why do you think that one resonated so much?
Well, she talked about being 21 and feeling like she's at a crossroads, wanting to do lots of things, but not sure which path is right or if it will feel fulfilling.
That feeling is so relatable, isn't it? That search for meaning and direction, especially around that age.
Definitely. And her idea of what fulfilling actually means, it was quite layered.
It really was. It wasn't just about career success or money.
No, she talked about family happiness, having kids someday, having time for them, also contributing to society. And yeah, financial comfort was in there too. She called it New Tien, a lot of money.
It's interesting how she balances those different aspirations: personal connection, purpose, security.
Yeah, wanting a life that's rich in different ways. Then she also got a positive card. Tit Kung, Mot Kung. Positivity wins one arrow.
Right. And her take on that was about gratitude.
Uh-huh. Being grateful for unexpected chances, relationships that feel like destiny, madness, she said.
It shows a real openness to life, doesn't it? Appreciating the good things, those connections that pop up.
It does. And she mentioned enjoying meeting new people, seeing new places. That fits.
But with a caveat, right?
Yeah, exactly. She made it clear she prefers one-on-one interactions. Big groups aren't really her thing.
Which just reinforces that introverted side we talked about.
Yeah.
You can picture her maybe retreating in a crowd, but really opening up in a smaller setting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another card she felt represented her was I so ti ave. Those who are afraid can leave. Sounds quite bold.
It does. Her interpretation was interesting, though. She felt it highlighted how people might misunderstand her.
How so?
Because she's open in certain ways, people might assume things, but her deeper personality isn't immediately obvious.
Ah, so it connects back to that appearance versus reality thing again.
Exactly. Maybe her openness gets mistaken for something more conventionally Bombeo that she actually feels she is.
Right, like the card is saying, hey, there's more here than you might think at first glance. It speaks to, well, Everyone's complexity, really.
Precisely. People are multifaceted. First impressions can definitely be misleading.
Okay, that swipe right left game was fun. Let's unpack some of those. First one. Than Taubaningon. Fluent in 3 languages. She swiped left.
Yeah, that was maybe a bit surprising given her background. Her dad's Dutch, but she doesn't speak Dutch.
No, some French, though.
Enough to read, she said, but not really conversational fluency. Just shows you can't assume, right?
Definitely not. Okay, next. Jean Vila Conlay. Beautiful because she's mixed race. Left swipe again.
Mm-hmm. She felt she looks more like her Vietnamese mother, so she attributes her looks to her mom's side, not necessarily the mixed heritage itself. Very specific.
It is. Then up to Tam Tuc, Vietnam. Beautiful from the heart, Vietnamese roots. Also a left swipe. It got kind of funny.
It did. None of the initial assumptions were landing. It really shows how easily we can, build these narratives about people that are just off.
Totally. Atum Pho Hung Mo used to live on Hang Mai Street. Left swipe.
Just another incorrect detail. Assumptions, even small ones.
Risky. Then, Quite Num Tung Nung Num Quay Num. Introverted but secretly mischievous. Another left.
Right, because while she agrees she's introverted, she pushed back on the secretly part. She sees her playfulness as quite open, openly expressed.
So the secret bit was the key disagreement. Got it.
It's a subtle difference, but important to how she views herself.
Okay, this next one was interesting. No Kong Jia Chan, capable housewife material. She swiped right, but with nuance.
Yeah, she likes being capable, enjoys housework and cooking, but not cleaning. She was clear on that.
Fair enough.
And it seemed like this enjoyment kind of grew within her relationship context, like wanting to care for her partner.
So maybe not something she felt strongly about initially, but it developed through that experience at university.
That's how it sounded. It shows how interests can shift and, grow through our connections. Personalities aren't static.
True. Lastly, Ko Kum Tui Jet Tu Hong. Do you feel older than your age? This led to a bit more chat.
Mm-hmm. She said she feels older in some ways, like overthinking, taking things seriously.
But the host pointed out, overthinking isn't just an older thing.
Good point. And Alyssa connected this to why she prefers dating older partners. She mentioned a 12-year age gap.
Wow. But she said it wasn't about her feeling older, more about matching mindsets.
Exactly. Similar conversation styles, finding that comfortable connection. Not about her trying to catch up, but about finding someone on a similar wavelength.
And she mentioned mutual learning in the relationship, too.
Yeah, emphasizing growth on both sides suggests it's built on, shared maturity and engagement, not just the age difference.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Social media. Sounds like it's been pretty impactful for Alyssa.
Oh, definitely. She really highlighted financial independence as a huge positive. It's given her more agency, decisiveness.
That's powerful, especially when you contrast it with her earlier attempts trying to get into traditional media like VTV.
Right. Sending emails, hitting roadblocks,
Yeah.
and then finding this other avenue through digital platforms. It really underscores how the landscape has changed for creators.
Absolutely. And she also talked about the value of the connections made online, learning from people she admires.
Yeah, that sort of informal mentorship or peer learning seems really important to her. It shows the positive potential of these online spaces, too.
For sure. But it's not all positive, right? What are some of the challenges she mentioned? What's she trying to leave behind?
Well, the big one seemed to be trying not to be overly influenced by what other people think.
The comments section struggle.
Pretty much. Trying to let go of overthinking negative comments, even when she knows logically they're wrong or unfair. It's such a common thing for creators, especially young ones.
It really is, dealing with that pressure of being visible. And it sounds like she's very aware of it, even if actually not letting it affect her is, an ongoing process.
Absolutely. Just recognizing it is a huge first step, isn't it, in figuring out how to navigate it.
Okay, that match game. It was lighter, but still revealing. Let's see. Duck Min Hunt? Right swipe. Why?
She described her as beautiful, genuine, simple, dedicated, qualities Alyssa clearly admires.
Makes sense. Next, Nihong Aikep, Egyptian queen. Left swipe.
Yeah. Alyssa felt that represented a level of power she hasn't quite reached yet. Maybe a bit of humility there, or a future goal.
Interesting. Leonardo da Vinci. Also left.
That was straightforward. She just said she doesn't feel she has much artistic talent. Honest.
Fair enough. Then Leo from Titanic. That got a right swipe, didn't it?
Yes, but humorously. Focusing on the character's charm and loyalty in the movie.
Right, with a little disclaimer about the actor's real-life dating habits.
Exactly. Just a bit of fun. Showed her pop culture awareness, too.
And finally, a Tinder profile. Man, right swipe. And this led to the story of her boyfriend.
Yes. Very modern meeting story. They connected on Instagram DMs, followed each other, started
What
chatting,
did they connect over?
shared interest in world affairs, apparently, then eventually met up in person in Vietnam.
And she mentioned being drawn to his personality low-key, but also open. And his writing resonated.
Yeah, and interestingly, she specifically said she prefers charismatic guys over conventionally handsome ones. Seems like that intellectual connection was really key.
Definitely reinforces that attraction is about more than just looks. Shared values, how you connect mentally.
Exactly.
So towards the end, the host asked her what the biggest opportunity from doing that interview was for her. What did she say?
It was the chance to just openly share her thoughts, her experiences with the Gen Z Korean audience, even though she admitted being nervous about public speaking.
So a moment of vulnerability, really, putting herself out there.
Yeah, it seemed like a significant step for her.
And the card she chose to represent the whole conversation?
That was Voot McPick. Exceeded expectations.
Aw, why?
She said the atmosphere, the warmth, the open sharing,
Hmm.
it all went beyond what she'd anticipated.
That's lovely. And the host seemed really impressed too, commenting on her genuineness, how thoughtful she was.
Yeah, he called the conversation inspiring, even mentioned maybe collaborating again. Sounds like a really positive connection was made.
It really does highlights the value of creating those spaces for real, honest dialogue.
Mm.
So, wrapping up our deep dive into this Alyssa Ho interview, what are the main things that stick out for you?
Well, I think we saw a really nuanced take on femininity, moving past simple labels. We saw a young woman really thinking through early adulthood, figuring things out.
Self-discovery in action.
Right. And also embracing the good and bad of being a creator online, the opportunities and the pressures.
And her thoughtful approach to relationships, personal growth, even acknowledging things like overthinking or worrying about opinions, it felt very real.
It really did. I think this whole conversation gives you such a valuable window into the mindset of a young person navigating the world today, especially the digital native experience.
Agreed. So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about those times in your own life where maybe your outward presentation doesn't perfectly match your inner world. How do you handle those gaps? And what does being truly authentic actually mean to you day to day? Something to reflect on.